Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Art of Awesomeness podcast, episode 19. I'm your host, Adrian Kiswani, accompanied today by our also host, Christian Caito.
Hello.
Welcome, Christian.
It's cool because I can make faces at you while you're talking because
Yeah.
they can't do setup. Do setup.
So if I'm like trying to talk about something really
I'll
serious
go
and
like,
deep,
But they won't see that because you're talking.
well, I'm going to show them that right now.
New setup, guys. So same thing. We're just trying it out. We're sitting across from each other in a table.
Nice to meet you, Christian.
Yeah, and you guys can. You guys can see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
So
we'll
we'll just. This is cool because we'll take turns talking, and so it'll be less work when.
Less work. Less work.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
so we do have the first order of business before we get into the rest, which I think is a pretty good podcast episode today. Well, I mean, I think the most obvious one is Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Shoot, you're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but we do have some, for those of you who don't know, there are some more than one national days today. We have National Cream-Filled Chocolate Day. So if you're into that. National Ferris Wheel Day.
Okay.
And National Organ Donor Day.
And National Valentine's Day.
Of course.
Sweet.
When you got your license, or when you had to do your permit stuff at the DMV, and you can sign up whether or not you want to be an organ donor or not, did you actually say that you would? No?
Did you?
No, I don't think so.
I don't
want think so.
anyone to take my organs for driving. Why
Poorly?
do they need to put driver's license? Why do they need to do the organ thing for driver's license? Does that affect your ability to drive if you're...
No, well, I think what it is if you get in a car accident and you die, right, but your organs are still salvageable, those organs will be taken to people who, I guess, could utilize an organ.
It's all about that confidence. I'm not signing up for organ donating because I know I'm not going to get in an accident.
I respect that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, even if I do die, I don't want them to take my organs.
It's kind of weird, eh?
It is weird.
Like, hey, Christian Cato's liver. Yep.
Your liver's an organ? I thought organ was like, all organs are
like your heart, your lungs, I don't know.
Oh, I thought organ was like
organs are just whatever's in your body.
That's
your skin's technically an organ. I mean.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I thought organs were more down.
Well, I mean, generically, what you
thought.
think of an organ is like in your stomach,
okay.
right? But yeah.
Sweet, cool.
And then Ferris wheel.
We said that already.
Yeah, right. No, I know we already said that, but yeah.
Sorry.
I'm not that retarded, dude. I promise I'm not. I know it seems like that, but
Yeah, it's Ferris wheel day. So, really cool thing about Ferris wheels. Did you know that there is such thing as a vertical Ferris or a horizontal Ferris wheel?
So you just turn like this? Isn't that just a carousel?
No, that's carousels with horses.
So you're just going in a circle in seats.
Yeah, kind of. But
That's interesting.
It looks like a carousel. It looks like a Ferris wheel, but it's...
I've never heard of that.
Well, it's...
Is it still called the Ferris wheel?
I don't know. Do you want to just leave that for them to search up, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We ain't got time for that.
Well, you want to say what we're doing?
Yeah. So we have a pretty good episode today. We're going to be reading through Proverbs Chapter 3 in its entirety. We're just going to read through it all the way from verse 1 through 35 for you guys, just so you can hear it all the way. And then after that, we're going to go through it verse by verse.
Yep.
Some verses we might spend some more time on, depending on how we feel about it. Some verses we might I think a lot of verses are more self-explanatory.
Yeah, some will be fast and...
Yeah, so...
Some will be longer.
Either way, you're going to hopefully gain something out of this. And, yeah.
Proverbs 3. Verse 1 through 35.
Pretty much.
So, are we going to read the whole thing first and then go through it, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Once you want to read it? Okay.
Yeah. All right. So for those of you who don't know, we're reading out the King James. This is Proverbs chapter 3. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel, which is your stomach, and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father, the son in whom he delighteth. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. She, referring to wisdom here, is more precious than rubies, and all the things that thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is every one that retaineth her. The Lord by wisdom hath founded the earth, by understanding hath he established the heavens. By his knowledge the depths are broken up, and the clouds drop down the dew. My son, let not them depart from thine eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. So shall they be life unto thy soul, and grace to thy neck. Then shalt thou walk in the way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. Withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand to do it. Say not unto thy neighbor, Go and come again, and tomorrow I will give, when thou hast it by thee. Devise not evil against thy neighbor, seeing he dwelleth securely by thee. Strive not with a man without cause, if he have done thee no harm. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the froward is an abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous. The curse of the Lord is in the house of the wicked, but he blesseth the habitation of the just. Surely he scorneth the scorners, but he giveth grace unto the lowly. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the promotion of fools. So there you go. The entirety of Proverbs Chapter 3. I saw you messing with your phone there a little bit.
No,
Everything
yeah,
good?
I'm sorry. Yeah, because you know how it keeps going to sleep?
Yeah.
Pressing. There's a setting where I could just set it and not touch it, and we can always see.
I was thinking about that, like in previous podcasts when you're always having.
I'm always
that's
touching.
a good setting to have on
next
that.
intermission, we'll figure it out. But yeah, I was still listening. And I was trying to make as minimal
I was just curious.
noise. But yeah, that was
Cool.
Well said. We read through that. You read through that.
Yeah.
And
so
we'll get that down. So should we just tackle the first one?
I think so. Let's just jump right into it, right?
So, my son, forget not my law, but let thine keep my commandments.
I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Forget not my law. I mean, the Bible's full of laws that are throughout the Old and New Testament, and let thine heart keep my commandments. So, I mean, I think we all know, any Christian knows that you're not saved based on your works. You're saved by grace through faith.
Mm-hmm.
Works. There's certainly good things to do, and they'll help you live a better life, certainly. But we should never mix it up with salvation, which is by faith. But yeah, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments.
Yeah.
For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee.
For length of days,
essentially, it's extending your life. Someone who has God's law written on their heart and they're living by those sort of statutes and standards.
Mm-hmm. Like adding emphasis on these things will present a more meaning-filled and more intentional life that is presented in the themes of, so what's to come is saying that these things, follow these, it's not out of only love for me, but also love for, or just knowing that he's presenting these things that, adding these, following these laws will have what, like the after effects of.
Right. And it's not just right for God, right? It's also for you.
Right.
Right, because how long you live doesn't affect God, right? It affects you. So I think there's that kind of that misconception that the laws in the Bible are just for God, but really a lot of the Bibles are just for your well-being, just to keep you safe or help you to live a longer and more fulfilling life. Because it's not just a long life, length of days, it's peace as well. And I think that's something, especially in like turbulent times, like that's a very sought after commodity, right? Peace. Right. Everyone talks about peace all the time, but I think very few people actually know where to like look for it, right? So
right, it's something that we all look for, but it's in these words. Just wrapping it like that. That's where you can find it, and that's what the gain is for getting it. Because you're right, it does not affect God whatsoever.
Right.
If we die
early.
It's
he's just like, whoa, you were
like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. I guess I'm stepping down from my position.
What if you show up there? He's like, wait a minute, go back. You're not
Is
that
done. Possible? There's stories where people say they've gone.
There are stories certainly for example, Lazarus. Jesus brings him back from the dead, right? Which I always found interesting because Lazarus died, and then Jesus brought him back. That means that he had to die again. So this guy he got a second chance to live, but he also
had to got a second chance to die. Yeah. So he had to die 2 times.
But you got to live twice, technically.
Oh, he had to start all over again?
No. I mean, he was resurrected from the dead. Oh, but he had like a second chance at life, is what I'm saying.
How many years did he have left?
What was he in? Maybe like he was about as old as Jesus, maybe like in his 30s or something like that.
Oh, okay. So
I mean, he had like some life left.
Those people back then lived a long life too. Like,
yeah, our lifespans are getting shorter.
Yeah, like these have like what, 600 years, 300.
Well, in the days of like Noah and stuff like that, Enoch. I think in the times of Jesus, I think it was still about like under 120.
Yeah, because of all like the disease.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there are people trying to crucify you and stuff. Rough times, man. Darn Romans, dude. All right, 3. Right? Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. I really like how it's worded there. Like bind them about thy neck, like almost like just wear it, almost like a necklace, like just wear it around you so you're just sort of reminded of it all the time. Like wear it on your sleeve, sort of. Like when we say, I wear my heart on my sleeve, sort of thing. It's almost like that. Yeah. If you read it, it's like keep it about thy neck. Keep it on the table of thine heart. Like wear it.
Yeah, like wear it proudly and don't let it.
Don't forsake it, right?
Yeah, it's something that everybody can see. You're absolutely right. Like not only does it show us so far of the gain of these things and the after effects, but in the process of while carrying it, bind it. When it says bind around, not only but bind it around your neck. Where are we at?
3. Yeah.
3. Yeah, bind around your neck. Bind them. Write them upon the tablet of thine heart. So not only for other people to see. But I think when it says like in thine heart, right, where it's something more personal and it's like a more belief that you have rather than something.
It's not just some outward facade, It's like it's actual and inward. I think it's right when you change something inwardly, it shows externally, right? It's kind of hard to mask it when it's just external and the inside's still rotten. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's kind of 2 perspectives. It looks like from. Like, for example, like my cross, like not only writing around where other people can see it and something that you take with you every day, but something when it says right upon your heart, something that I know, for what I wear this, but I also believe what I believe. So 2 things.
We know that a necklace, for example, right? Because you brought that up, it's just a piece of metal or wood, but it's almost like, have you ever been wearing like a cross necklace or something, and you thought about doing something wrong? But because you were wearing the cross necklace, it reminded you not. Like, dude, has it ever prevented you from doing something like that?
It has. I mean, it's not like that made me do it, but it was more so.
But it was a reminder.
Like just because, like it was just like, even if it was something like a thought process, like thinking about, past events that left a significant impact. I know where it leads to. It's just something now that every time I'm conditioned now that I think about that, rather I just go like this or I just be still for a minute and it just kind of helps to recenter. Not saying that this is what made me do it. It's more what it represents and what it just kind of keeps me.
Right. It's like a reminder, really.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But that's good. Let's see here. 4.
Next one.
so shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. That's pretty interesting there, how it includes man in that statement, Because usually in the Bible it's about pleasing God, but it's saying here, so shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. So it's not just going to be God you're pleasing, but also man by just being wise and making, well-informed decisions, right? Because that benefits everybody,
Yeah. Well, it's cool because it's more how sensible this one is, where it talks about, so for what we learned about from representing to the benefits of it, this kind of ties back into the first one where it's about add peace shall they add to thee. This, I feel like this kind of falls under that word a little, but it's a little bit of an extension where not only it's saying you're addressing pleasure to God and pleasing God, but in the sense of living your own life.
Right.
Following these things will help. And it's kind of I noticed a pattern. It re-emphasizes the structure between following these things and the kind of life that you should, And
the interesting thing is that when you follow God, you also become a good leader, right? Because when you follow God and you're setting a good example, people follow you for that. Right? And you, not only are you following God, but you're setting a good example to other people. So in a way, a good follower is also a good leader and vice versa, So that's always sort of an interesting thing that I think of.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. But I mean, we only got to verse 4 right now, and we'll probably go through maybe what?
Well, the next one we could tackle like 2.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. So we're going to head to the intermission real quick. And when we get back, we will go over verse 5 and onward.
Yep,
so
onward.
Enjoy that intermission.
This collection represents 35 years of my life. Oh, careful. Our journey begins with this mug.
Dave, lift the microphone.
Whoa!
Welcome back, everybody, from intermission.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are doing great and you like that intermission of whatever the intermission was.
Whatever it
We have
was.
some ideas, but I guess we'll see when you guys see it. So
yeah, the last intermission was good.
And that is why Art of Awesomeness is the best podcast in the world, baby. Woo! Let's go. My TED Talk. Check that out. It's in the last.
It was a good TED Talk.
Last intermission.
How many views do you have on TED Talk?
95.
95,000
billion.
Whoa. That was a jump.
0.2.
Oh, 0.2. All right. Fair enough.
We still got that. I mean, 0.5. We still got half that person that's watching. Watching.
Okay, I was going to say.
Sorry.
We're having some mental issues. Sorry.
Yeah, so number 6.
No,
5?
5.
Okay.
All right, let's see here. Number 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thine... I love this verse. Lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Dude, I'm sorry. I just hear that one so many times.
Me too,
We have that in my laundry room on the thing, and so I hear it.
I feel like that's been a verse of the day before.
Yeah, it has. I think
right?
It has. I'm sure it has. But basically,
that's a great verse.
Yeah, trust in the Lord with all your heart. This is actually really good because I think we both need this. Even every day when we think we're being good Christians. Even when we think we're being good. Basically, don't trust your own understanding and lean on God for his ways.
Pretty much. Another way to look at it is also to not necessarily vibe with the culture, whatever the culture of the time is.
Like be a worldly mindset.
Right. Like because your own understanding could also be inflicted upon by other people, right? Maybe what you learn in, public school or something like that, or what you hear in the media or whatever. That could also be what you could call false understanding, and that could rub off on you, right? So you don't want to lean onto your own sort of view of the world if it's not necessarily in a biblical sense, right?
Yeah.
So because anything other than that, you could easily get lost in any number of different, rabbit holes of ways of thought that will just lead you down, unfavorable paths, you know? So, but yeah, that's a great verse.
Yeah.
I think most people have heard that at least at one point,
Yeah,
it's almost like a John 3:16.
Yeah, I was about to say that right now.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those key phrases. And it's difficult because when you're human, and when you have to rely on ways where you just have to be straight up and say, God, like I know I'm human, just teach me to be open about your will and to not. And it's difficult because when you have all this physical stuff going on about the news and what's cool and what isn't, and you're relying on words of faith, it can be hard to not get caught up in what's happening.
Oh yeah.
And to just take a step back and say, God, I really need help right now, just to stay grounded and remember what's important, which is your will, and help me to not be swayed too much.
And it also takes a certain level of humility to do that.
Yes.
You know?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
Because you can't do that with a prideful mindset. You know, if you're leaning too far into your own personal pride, then that's almost an impossible thing to do. Mm-hmm. To lean not into your own understanding, because your whole pride thing is resting on yourself being so full of yourself. You're like, yeah, no, I got it, right? But in reality, no, you don't. You know, right? So
I mean, you don't have any control.
It takes, and that's also a good way to get wisdom and understanding in general, right? Is to understand that you don't know everything, because you know the moment you think you know everything is when you stop learning, because you don't think there's anything else to pick up.
Anything,
right? So, yeah, I mean.
Okay.
I feel like there's a reason that's such a good verse, so, you know. So we're 5 and 6.
It's more applicable. You want to do 7 and 6, or 6 and 7, like both, like do chunks?
Yeah, sure. So it says, "In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." Which, I mean, that's pretty.
The fifth one.
That makes sense. Yeah. "Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord, and depart from evil." And I think it says earlier in this book, and it says it throughout the Bible, that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You know?
Do you want to talk more about the concept of fear? Like, like fear, like,
well, the thing about...
Because I asked that question too.
Right.
So you kind of...
So a fear of God is one, and most obviously I think of respectful fear. It's almost the same fear that you would have of your father if you disobeyed him, you know? One, it's a respect thing. But also you don't want him to harshly discipline you. So it is an actual real fear too. Fear is fear, right? But I guess you could call it a healthy fear.
Right. It's not like one of those... It's not like one of those fears where it's like fear of like snakes or clowns or something. Like fears, like horror kind of fears.
Yeah,
but
like
I think you mean
scary.
Yeah, I think you mean like a fear where it's like, you know, you acknowledge the big picture, the big influence that has.
Right.
That kind of fear.
I mean, if you're thinking about God, he can strike you dead at any moment if he wanted to. Like, that's a pretty crazy thought to think of, right? So when you have that level of, that's how powerful God is, he can do all, you start realizing your own limitations, and you think of, wow, this guy's all knowing and I'm not. Yeah. So there's no way I can't learn something from him, right? So
well, nicely said.
All right. So if you trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not unto your own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. I mean, you put those 3 verses together. I mean, that's a power chunk right there.
It's very harmonious. Where basically the thing is, don't rely on your own understanding. Not only to kind of bridge off, not only lean apart from your beliefs, but acknowledge God's will and be open to that, and realize the influence that he has.
But I will say, if your understanding is built on the Bible, and if it's built on biblical perspectives, then you can lean on your own understanding, because it's not really your own at that point. It's God's understanding in you, right? So, yeah, but I mean, just good verses right there in general.
You're right. If it's based on that biblically, that does make sense. I think this one's directed towards when he's... You know, do you know the context behind this when he was saying who to this was for?
Well, Solomon wrote the book of Proverbs.
It was just a book, right?
Right. So pretty much Solomon asked for wisdom. And as far as we know, Solomon humanly was the wisest person who ever lived. So, I mean, if we were going to go off of, Proverbs Chapter 3 in and of itself, it begins with "my son," right? So you could see it as like an address to somebody. Like he's addressing, like, look, Chapter 3 says, "My son." Chapter 4, "Hear ye children." Chapter 5, "My son." Chapter 6, "My son." Chapter 7, "My son."
Instructional.
It's like hear my words,
that,
sort of a thing. It's sort of like if you were to send a letter to someone and say, hey, like Christian, hey, Adrian, hey, my son, listen up. I got something to tell you. So
for the kids for his children that need proper instruction.
Right. And we're all
like
children of God. So you
right.
could see it in that way spiritually as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Sweet. And then,
see, where we 8? 8. So, it shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. So this is actually talking about a physical effect that wisdom has. Right. So it's not just necessarily a mental effect, but having wisdom
I think
affects your body as well.
The way I think of it is when you think about these things of navel, which is, you said it was
like your innards.
Your innards, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then bones. I kind of like how it's illustrating this picture, because it's not only is it all mental, but it's more, when you say these things, it's more things that you can feel.
Yeah, and it
physical,
extends, right?
And I think in the context, like after you follow some of these teachings,
Yeah.
it's with this in mind that you actually, which is cool, because you actually get to feel, these things going on, where it's not just talk, but hopefully after proper application with these teachings with the right intention.
Yeah. Right.
It's cool because you can actually, and it's funny when things like that happen in any day, because I'm sure we've had those moments where these have happened. We're just like, well, this is what it feels like when you're following, good. And it's not even when good things happen. Sometimes it's when bad things happen, and you make the right choice according to scripture. Yeah. And even though you may have wanted to indulge in something or not, there's kind of this feeling afterwards where it's like, you don't
feel good about it.
Right. Where it's like, I wanted to do that, but my choice to not do it, there's a small sliver of me, even if it's just like as tiny as a mustard seed, that feels this was the right choice ultimately to make.
Right.
And that's, so you kind of feel that, and that expands a little bit.
And not only that, but you also, if you think about people who are overly stressed, that can have, that camera just went out, but that's cool. We'll finish that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. Sorry about that technical difficulty. We caught it though.
No worries.
Yeah. So when people have we hear this all the time in news articles and stuff like that. People are overly stressed about the coronavirus, the quarantine. What psychological effect will this have on children, or something like that? Have you ever heard people talk about those sort of things?
Yeah, I've heard of. There's been a lot of research about how mental activity can affect the body, especially when you're talking about like placebos, or just in general stress, not even placebos.
Yeah.
But stress has,
like stress does have a physiological effect.
Correct.
Right. So if you think about the opposite of that, right, saying length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee, you can imagine that the opposite of stress, which is peace, could also have a healthy effect on your body, right? The opposite. So it's not deteriorating, it's actually strengthening your body, which would be, because when you're not stressed, your body has more time to just take care of itself. Yeah, right. It's not in like survival mode or trying to keep you from some dangerous situation. It's just working the way it should. So,
yes.
I mean, I know that if you look at the organs or insides of people who are, overly stressed and they have high level stress, think maybe, I don't know, military personnel, police officers, something of that matter. Sometimes when they come back from deployment, they have some issues. Right. Not just psychological, but also physical. And I'm not talking about from, shrapnel or bullets or something like that, but sometimes also just the stress that comes along with being in one of those positions, right? Of constantly having to look over your shoulder. So I think that this is, as simple as it is, it shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. I think it shouldn't be taken lightly. I think that that's a pretty important point that it makes.
Where it's cool, where it branches out. I'm just gonna quickly say this, but it's cool how it branches out again from recapping from mentally to, because it really does, it all kind of flows from how your perspectives and beliefs about things, that it starts to flow of how you feel, things that you do, and how you feel about those things. Right. So I think that was a good point you brought up about your psychological effects of it. And so well said.
Yeah, for sure. And let's see here, we're at 9. Honor the Lord with thy substance, and with the first fruits of all thine increase.
And then,
so shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. So
kind of like the first one, where it was saying you'll have more than you need.
Essentially, yeah.
When you follow, when it illustrates just when it says barns shall be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out.
Yeah.
With new burst out.
So, but have you ever heard that that saying where it's, if you give someone a fish, you feed them for the day. If you teach them how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime.
I've heard of that.
So
but-
I think it's sort of that sort of same thing with wisdom here. You know, you teach someone to do the right thing. I mean, you basically fed them spiritually, physically for the rest of their life.
Ongoing feeding cycle.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And I mean, yeah, honor the Lord with thy substance. You know, honor the Lord with what you have. You know, whether I mean, I guess an example would be like tithe or something like that, right? But just in general.
Yeah.
You know? I think of like Abel when he offered up his, you know, the fat of his lambs, you know, to the Lord. You know, he didn't just get the scrawny one. He gave him like the best
like
of the best.
The real deal.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
This ties in with kind of the first one, where it was like I don't know, length of days long for the length of days, and they shall add to the peace and length of days, where it's addition, where it's in summary, or what was that, summation? I don't know if that's where it's like there's more added on to it. And in this sense, it's similar to the barn, where it's just more than you need, where you'll be fulfilled. I think that's talking about in a spiritual presence too, as it kind of starts spiritually and then flows out, as what we just talked about too.
Yeah. And so then 11, which again says, my son,
right,
despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be wary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. That's
a good one.
It is, because we, especially during Valentine's Day, where everyone's talking about love and so forth, and I think sometimes people get this false idea that love is just, you're almost like a yes man,
like, you know, letting you do whatever.
Exactly. But really want. that's not that loving. What would really be loving is if, you know, if you were, you know, going down a dark path in your life, right? As your friend, it wouldn't be very loving of me to say, oh yeah, you're
just
fine.
Let that pass. Or like from
right,
a father's
especially
sense,
if I know, right?
Yeah. Or like if you're like letting your kids, I don't know, like I'm just gonna random example. Like say you do have a kid or a friend or someone.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know, just off the top of my head, like playing with, I don't know, indulging in a certain food too much, or if you have a son that likes to play around certain tools, and it's not that, you know, imagine if you, like, looking back, like if you try to empathize if you did have a kid, and they're just like, hey dad, can I go play with the tools real quick, that have no knowledge whatsoever how to play with it. If you know, they'll not like you for the first few minutes or days or weeks even. That sounds depressing, but in the end you love them because you see a bigger picture, which is, I think we're, as humans, we kind of fail to see.
That's true.
If I let my son, my friend, do this, they will get hurt and I will regret that, because I love them, because I know that they don't know how to properly utilize this yet. I'm going to withhold this from them, even if they don't see it. That's kind of the pains of being a father, is when they don't see it right away.
Right. But you can say,
right. So you know that because I love you, you cannot do this.
And I think that's why it says, my son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, because your immediate response is to despise it. You're like, why the heck are you disciplining me for this? This makes no sense. But it's saying, don't despise the chastening of the Lord, neither be wary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth. So it's sort of telling you that when someone's trying to correct you, or the Lord especially is trying to correct you in your life, or showing some harsh level of discipline, that's not just out of spite for you, right? That's actually to help you. So don't despise it. Actually accept it. Like, oh, okay, I just got, disciplined. Right. That means I need to fix something. Something was not right that I was doing. Let me get back on track.
Right. And isn't it good to know these things, like when you're making a mistake, as compared to just letting it roll over? So when another situation comes up in your life, like, I probably wish I would have known this a lot sooner. Like if you're going to a job and your dad or your friend doesn't correct you on it, they'll go into that job, like keep talking about a certain subject about yourself or whatever, and completely blow it. So, it's kind of good to not realize these things in the long run. So
for sure.
Yeah. Number 13.
Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. I think that's also been one of the verse of the days.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
Or it's more like taking a delight in, that's again like taking delight in not only instruction, but understanding a higher, why you're getting these things. Yeah. Right?
So for the merchandise of it, of course referring to wisdom, right, is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. I really like that.
It's like
That's
re-emphasizing the purpose of.
It's just
The
saying
wisdom is
how
better.
important wisdom is. And then it
Mhm.
goes on to say, she is more precious than rubies, and all the things that thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. So it's saying wisdom is something like, think of anything that you desire. Wisdom is more important than that
More
thing.
than a Lambo, more than 10 million subs,
Well, I don't know about 10 million subs though.
except 10 million
Except-
subs.
Like, you get some scholar, he's like, well, if you go back to the Hebrew, it actually says 10 million. It's like,
It says in a manuscript. Yeah, good.
have
good
you
one.
heard of the Dead Sea Scroll? You know,
The
it's just
dead.
like-
Wait, that's the thing though.
yeah, but it was like written way after. I mean,
Oh, so
That was
YouTube
kinda-
wasn't. Okay, that's unfortunate.
it's one of those things, you know.
Yeah, one of those
Yeah.
things.
We're just gonna move on from it. Let's see here. And then it emphasizes it again. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. So saying in the hand of wisdom that it can offer you is length of days,
Mm-hmm.
and then riches and honor.
So that's these past few verses are really emphasizing the importance of making you realize. I think in a world where, especially now, not only back then, where
Oh, yeah.
the context where we
you really want material things, right?
where we look at these things in like the fatted calf and gold and materials and all these physical things that we could see, you know, and it even applies to now. Even if it's not the same thing, like social media or
I think it's
or-
just sort of a timeless thing, right? People have
Right.
always sought after what's
something
in front of them,
right?
right?
And this emphasizes, that, like, imagine those things, but higher. Same thing. If we use this in our context,
Right.
more precious than, I don't know, what's something
iMac
really cool.
computers.
Computers. I have to say this Chick-fil-A. Like that, because Chick-fil-A is up here,
Yeah.
but
I've only
more
ever had it
important-
once, but you know,
Well, we'll
Wasn't
we'll
bad.
have it again next week.
wasn't bad.
All right.
Let's see here.
Her ways. Are we reading 17,
Yeah.
18?
17. Her ways are the ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is everyone that retaineth her. So it's not just having wisdom in the moment, it's you hold on to wisdom.
Mhm.
And it reminds me of that one Bible verse where, you know, the tree of life that just gives free water, you know, just sort of everlasting.
There's something about that
you know?
picture that's so pleasant and
Yeah.
tranquil.
Yeah. And
where-
it's definitely referring to that. It says right here, she is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is everyone that retaineth her. And you know how it has mirroring Bible verses right at the bottom? How it says Genesis 2:9?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious of what that is.
Verse, but
Do you see that?
Yeah. Well, we have different Bibles, so it doesn't.
Oh, okay. I'm actually
show
just
it, but
curious.
yeah.
This isn't part of the chapter, but I'm just curious of
How that.
how it relates.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because they have to go through each one and then find.
That's a
what
lot of
other
work,
verses.
dude. That's a lot of
This
work.
is like
Genesis 2:9. Genesis 2:9. Okay. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into forest. So maybe it's just referring to that sort of
the
pristine
idea
tree
of a
that you would see in
tree.
like Eden or something
Yeah.
like that. Got it.
Man.
That's cool.
And then,
All right,
what's your
19?
order? 19, 20?
Yes. Okay, let's see here. The Lord by wisdom hath founded the earth. I love that. By understanding hath he established the heavens. By his knowledge the depths are broken up, and the clouds drop down the dew.
That's a nice painting.
You know, I just think that's cool because I remember hearing in a sermon one time, I forget exactly who the speaker was, but he essentially said, when God created the world, he did not lift one finger, right? He just spoke everything into existence, right? God said, let there be light. God said, well, that's certainly one way to emphasize it. But yeah,
It wasn't like that.
I don't know if he just like, you know,
But yeah.
I just thought that was really cool because obviously I would imagine it takes a lot of wisdom to make a planet, you know?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Especially
So
even with us.
I know. And by understanding hath he established the heavens, by his knowledge the depths are broken up, and the clouds drop down the dew. And
Nice
then,
picture.
yeah, it's really cool. And then again, my son, Let not them depart from thine eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. Which is similar to the other one that said, bind it about thy neck, right? Keep it, right?
Yeah, that's what
Retain
22
it.
says. So shall thy be life unto thy soul and
Grace to thy neck. So it reinforces that again.
So it really does make sure to not go without a few verses without illustrating. Again, just remember.
Yeah, I always
follow
notice that
these.
God will always, when he really wants you to understand something, he repeats it, right?
Yeah, right. I mean,
always.
It's same thing with, if you're explaining something to someone, something really important.
Right, you want to maybe if you don't say it the same way every time, you might come at it from a different angle, just try and get some form of perspective in there. Yeah. Let's see. Then shalt thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. Then, let's see. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. That's pretty good.
I like the 23, the 23rd one, thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble.
Like we were walking in that field today where it was kind of hard to walk. Yeah. I think of that.
Let me ask you a question, because this is something that I've been thinking about. When it says stumble, and this is your own opinion, when it says stumble, and I've actually talked to some people about unnamed people about this about this verse where it's like stumble. What do you have to say when people, and I'm asking this for me too, just what you said, when they say don't stumble, like, well, when I stumble, like, what about those times when I do, not only sin, but like stumble, like where I those seasons or those small moments,
like rightfully so.
Yeah, where I'm just like, oh, or I lose faith in God, or stumble where I mess up. Like, what do you have to say to people when in that context? Does it mean stumble like that sense? And if so, like, what would you have to say when they say in this verse, "And thy foot shall not stumble, even though I have followed God, I did mess up"? Because that's something I've been thinking about. Like, if you asked me that, it would take me a little while to respond with an answer, because I wouldn't know how to say that either. When it was like, thy foot shall not stumble.
Well, it says, then shalt thou walk in the way. So we have to know what then it's talking about. So we have to go back up to verse 21 to see what he's talking about. So he's saying, my son, let not them depart from thine eyes. What should he not let depart from his eyes? Keep sound wisdom and discretion, right? So sound wisdom and discretion, they shall be life unto thy soul and grace to thy neck. Then shalt thou walk in the way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. So you're going to walk in the way safely when you keep sound wisdom and discretion. Mm-hmm. So when you're not keeping sound wisdom and discretion, aka sin, that's when the opportunity for stumbling comes, right? So is that what you're talking about, or what?
Yeah, I was talking about that definitely encapsulates what I was thinking about stumbling.
Because stumbling, I mean, I guess you could refer it to a physical stumbling where, it's a wise thing to look where you're putting your foot when you're walking down a trail, right?
Right, but like mentally.
But I mean, mentally, spiritually, definitely. Because if you have sound wisdom and discretion, right? What's discretion? Discerning right and wrong, right? So if you can discern right and wrong, you know what you're doing when you're doing something, right? So if I choose to do something and I have sound wisdom and discretion, I'll know even before I do it whether or not it's the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. So if it's wrong and I choose to go through with it anyways, right? Mm-hmm. You're just you're gonna stumble, right?
That's the whole thing, yeah.
So, I mean, physically, yeah, sure, right? Look where you're going when you're walking down a trail, but spiritually, for sure, I would say it's probably more so spiritually than anything else, because I think it's just sort of common sense to look where.
Yeah.
But
I think, that's a good. We should circle back on that on like another. Topic that's pretty cool, like stumbling. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that one a lot too, for sure. Mm-hmm. Let's see, and then especially when thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. If only sleep shall be sweet, And
NyQuil.
No NyQuil. Yeah, but that also has to go. It goes hand in hand with being stressed out, right? And having that peace that was like all the way in verse. What was it, 2? Mm-hmm. Right? Peace shall they add to thee. It's hard to fall asleep, and have a sweet, like, good night's rest if you fall asleep really stressed out.
Yeah.
Or you're angry or you're worrying about something. I think there's that one Bible verse where it's never let the sun go down on your wrath, something like that. Like, don't let the day end angry.
Yeah.
Right. It's just not good to fall asleep angry
I've heard
at something.
of that one before.
So yeah,
I've heard of that one for like wives. Like, don't ever let your wife go to bed angry.
that's just don't let your wife wake up angry. I think the main thing is if she goes to sleep angry, she's gonna wake up angry, and you don't want that.
Yeah,
so
you just want to resolve it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Just not just slide
just
under the
run
rug.
because the slipper's coming.
The slipper, the chancla.
Just let's see here.
Which one we're at? 25, 26?
20. Yes. Okay. Yeah. 25. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. So there's again with that foot thing, and I think it might have something to do with a foundation, right? Because your feet are the foundation. Without your feet, you're not standing up, right?
Correct.
So if someone takes your foot, right, you're going to be taken off balance, and you're just going to fall. You're going to trip. You're going to stumble, right? So the Lord is essentially saying, He will be your confidence and shall keep your foot from being taken. So, right, the Lord, wisdom, that's what's going to keep your feet firmly planted on the ground. And anything other than that, if you're fearing the sudden fear or the desolation of the wicked when it cometh, then you're not going to have that sound of a foundation anymore.
Right.
And you're kind of screwed, to be honest, right?
When it says, be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of desolation of the wicked when it cometh. What stuck out of this verse to me was knowing that there will be those things in the future, but the only difference is with this in mind that you don't have to, because when you will, even it relates to the verse when you will have troubles in this world.
Oh yeah,
it relates to that. And when it says sudden fear and
isn't it a nice thing when you know that you're going to have trouble? Like God says, look, if you follow me, you're going to be persecuted. You're going to have troubles. There are going to be people who will hate you.
Not only that, but what sticks out even more was knowing that you will have these, but these things come up. But don't worry, because I'll be here with you.
Right.
So it's basically like he's being blunt about it. Like, yeah, I'm not going to lie, you will have like no cap.
Right, which is good.
Right. And then even further than that, I'll be with you through it, which is nice knowing. So
he gives you that dose of reality, but then he also gives you the hope that is in him, right?
Like that you're ready for it, and then you're going into it with the right headspace. So
right,
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's all good. Let's see, where are we? 27.
27, 28.
Withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand to do it. Say not unto thy neighbor, Go and come again, and tomorrow I will give, when thou hast it by thee.
We were talking about this last night.
We were talking about this last night. And so pretty much what it's saying, if for anyone who can't maybe understand the way it's being spoken, is don't withhold anything from your neighbor when you have it readily to give, right? If you have something to give to your neighbor and they ask for it, or they don't ask for it and you can just give it to them, right? Don't withhold that just to yourself, right? If you have something to give it, right? And then it just gives an example, right? Say not unto thy neighbor, Go and come again, and tomorrow I will give, when thou hast it by thee. So if you have it, when you have it on you, don't tell him to come back tomorrow. If you have it on you, give it to him then, right? It's just, it's just sort of, look, you have, you give, right?
Right.
It's just simple as that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, this video is sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor,
State Farm is there.
State Farm is there because they never withhold any of their insurance policies. You
know what I just realized is that whenever we fake sponsor someone, they actually get a shout out.
What do you mean?
Like even if they're not paying us, if we do,
yeah,
they're still getting like a free shout out.
That was like a sentence long.
Yeah, but still,
it's still a shout out.
That's funny.
To like 40 people.
What if we just did a whole episode where we're just shouting people out the whole time?
Who's gonna reach us first? Yeah, this is their opportunity before we make it big. So you guys are gonna wish.
Yeah.
Right. Number 29.
Let's see here. Devise not evil against thy neighbor, seeing he dwelleth securely by thee. And that's pretty easy. Right? Don't do evil against your neighbor because he's right there, right? And then strive not with a man without cause, if he have done thee no harm. So if someone's not like trying to do you any harm,
like don't pick fights.
Yeah. Don't be a
Don't make trouble.
don't be a brawler. Don't go out looking for trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you want to make sure there's that good verse in the Bible. The horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord. So you want to make sure that you're prepared for a fight or something, or prepared for, dangers that might befall you. But you don't want to be,
the one that's provoking these things.
right. So you shouldn't want it to happen. But if it does happen, you should
You'll
be ready to deal with it, right?
Right.
So, and this is a great way of preparing, right? Just mentally.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which one are we on?
we are
31?
on, right there. Envy thou not the oppressor. I really like this one, actually. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the froward is an abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous.
So basically, kind of similar where it says, where we're talking about the ways of the world and admiring other people's ways and point of views.
Right.
This one's kind of the same thing, but don't admire their ways, even though they may be successful or they might be having a
Well,
certain
they're
style that you
successful by the
envy.
world standards.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then it just says, and it reinstates for the forward.
So
is
he says,
abomination
so
of
pretty
the
much
Lord.
when it says for the froward is an abomination, he's saying what it says in verse 31, if you do envy the oppressor and you do choose his ways, that's an abomination, right? To the Lord. But his secret is with the righteous. So God's secret is with people who actually, follow him and so on and so forth. Let's see. 33. The curse of the Lord is in the house of the wicked, but he blesseth the habitation of the just. I think that's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think that needs a lot of explaining, or I mean,
in the house. The curse of the Lord is in the house. of
so
the
I mean, in a
wicked,
household of wicked people, that's where the curse of the Lord is going to be. In
and
a
he
household of
blesseth
righteous,
the habitation
right?
of the just. Oh, so basically, just reinstating, bad people get bad things, good people get good things.
From the
God's
Lord,
judgment.
at least, yeah.
Okay.
And then 34. Surely he, and this is God, obviously, is the he. Surely he scorneth the scorners, but he giveth grace unto the lowly. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the promotion of fools. That is a boss statement right there. The very last verse.
Which one?
The wise
Shame
shall
shall-
inherit glory, but shame shall be the promotion of fools.
This really just goes, because at first it just started with keeping your commandments, following my teachings, and that shows in the greater aftermath of
It shows
after these
like
things of
the people who
what-
do and the people who don't,
Yeah.
right? So
That's cool seeing. It starts from something as simple as a necklace to promoting fools.
yeah.
It's like sponsoring fools if
Yeah.
Jesus was a YouTube video.
Shame shall
That
be the
didn't go
promotion of fools. So if you're a fool, shame is your promotion.
Fool, you
essentially.
gonna get duel.
Is that a saying?
No, I was gonna say something else, but it wasn't a word. But
Really?
yeah, 35 verses. Wow, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was.
Should-
I'm glad that we were able to go through that.
Yeah.
You want me to go?
Yeah. Do you want me to go?
No, I got it. Okay, so after that, I remember one episode I had a laugh attack. That was the equivalent that just happened right now. Krishna, so are
I'm
you
fine.
You good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good. Just
All right.
kidding. I was just kidding. I'm playing.
So yeah, we just finished Proverbs Chapter 3. We hope that you guys enjoyed that and hopefully got something out of it.
Don't laugh.
Like I'm trying.
You're just giving it power.
You just get okay. Well, we know that you have a verse of the day.
Yeah.
If you wanna
We
lay it on us.
are going to Ephesians chapter 6,
Yes, sir.
verse 8 through 10. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Knowing that whatever good thing any man doeth, the same shall he receive of the Lord, whether he be bond or free. And ye masters do the same things unto them, forbearing, threatening, knowing that your master also is in heaven. Oh, interesting. Neither is there respect of persons with him. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Christian's having a hard time,
I'm
man.
sorry. I feel great. I'm just so happy because
For you guys who watch this on YouTube, please leave encouraging comments for Christian because I think he needs it right now.
I'm sorry. No, I'm over that, man. That was the old me. I'm done. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys.
This started off so good.
Don't say that. It makes me think it didn't get enough good.
Look, don't worry about it. Everything's fine.
Thank you guys for watching. What did we talk about? We talked about Proverbs 3.
We literally went through the whole thing.
Proverbs 3, 1 through 35.
Yeah.
It was very enlightening. Recap, follow God, and there's a lot of good benefits to reap from that.
And also wisdom. All the
And
benefits it
wisdom.
can give you and the lack thereof can do some pretty harmful things.
If I was a woman, I would be lesbian for wisdom.
That is the weirdest.
Get it? Because she's a she?
Why couldn't you just say that? But you're a guy, so it's wisdoms are.
Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any comments or things you want to say to us about the ways we can improve,
Please.
We would love to hear that.
Yeah, and I know that the first camera cut out a little ways into the recording, so since you kind of got two different perspectives this episode with this
You're right.
perspective and the other one,
Until we did
so
this.
I don't know if you want to let us know which one you like better.
How you like that?
If
And
you prefer one over the other, and
we'll
yeah.
see if we can do what you want. Because you guys have been so good to respond to us lately, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, we do. Thank you.
You want to end it off?
Yeah, I'll end that one off. Thank you guys for watching the Art of Awesomeness podcast. This is episode
Are
19.
we just deleting everything I just said?
No.
Oh, we keep going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just feel very violated right now. Keep going.
Wait, would you first off all, do you want to just let everyone know why you're feeling weird or
No, I don't know. I'm not.
Whoa, you just got Canadian there.
I don't know. Ah! Okay, just finish this. Finish it. I'll stop it.
I was.
Go.
Thank you guys for watching.
Oh, we didn't clap. Dang it. Oh. We didn't clap. Did we clap?
I can clap right now. Huh?
No, but it doesn't. Bye.
Thank you guys for watching the 19th episode of the Art of Awesomeness podcast. Give us any recommendations that you'd like to see for future episodes. This season I know is almost over. Was it 20, 21, 22? So it's going to be over before you know it. And we are going to be discussing some topics on the live stream that's coming up soon.
Correct.
So expect some information on that pretty soon, I would say. Probably within the next week or so. So
yeah, it's good. Always good to expect.
Yeah, keep a lookout for that. Episode 20 next time.
Yep.
And happy Valentine's Day.
Yep.
If we didn't.
Happy
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. Hope you guys are doing great with your loved ones.
Let's see, what's the
That's
expiration date on this?
Oh my, don't do it.
I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna do it. Wait for it.
It's water.
Wait for it.
You're looking for an expiration date on
Like,
water.
I'm gonna find it, dude. I'm gonna find it. Wait.
On a bottle of water. Adrian's looking for an expiration date on a bottle of water.
Listen. Hold on. I can do it.
You can't.
I just have to spin it around. I'm gonna spin it around one more time. Ready?
I'm also looking. There's no expiration date.
Wait. Hold on. Is it right there?
Because here's a life
Hold on,
hack.
hold on.
Water cannot expire, Adrian.
Oh, but it can.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna spin it one more time, and it's gonna be there. I promise. Ready? Ready? It's not there.
Yeah, because life hack.
It's not there. I thought
Water
it'd be
does
there.
not expire.
What does expire that we have on us right now?
Nothing except probably it's a phone case. Just use your milk joke again.
Oh yeah. So
Just do that.
my gallon of milk has a Valentine's Day date, but I don't. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. We'll see you next time.
またよがければお別れ夢は遠き幻に